Facebook Live. Good morning, Facebook Live. Everybody there gonna check mics. Morning, Jerry.
Good morning, Jerry. We're good? Say it again. Good morning.
4 minutes and some odd seconds.
I couldn't hear him.
I know. With that commercial, right?
Yeah. I kept saying, say it again.
Say it again.
Say it again. Say it again. What was that?
What? Oh, I got the old battery so the thing doesn't die. There's so much to consider.
Oh my God, I know.
Once we get big, man.
Nowadays, you actually need those battery packs.
Oh, totally.
These phones now, with all the programs in them, they just can't. The batteries
Well,
can't.
when we were
hold up.
taking pictures in Italy, I mean, the phone by 4 or 6 hours of taking pictures and looking at it, I mean, it would be down. So
Where'd you go, Nathan? Are you going to talk about that on the show? Perfect.
We were 3 days in Venice, 3 days in Florence, 4 days in Sorrento area.
Sure.
And then 3 days in Rome.
Nice. I spent a week in Florence.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, and then
Florence.
and then the island of Sardinia is
Okay, we
my
went
favorite.
to Capri.
Okay.
Capri for
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't want to say that. That's just
It
fantastic.
is crazy though how the traffic just moves in these places with the cars, the scooters, the motorcycles, the buses, everybody. They just
I learned how to drive a stick shift.
oh man.
And it was
Yeah.
okay to hit bumpers and hit cars that were
Oh,
parked.
totally. And you see people on scooters, they just hold on to the cars while they're waiting, and they'll cut in and out and pass each other on the left. But again, it all.
But they should do a YouTube
works.
video on how to use your horn appropriately in the Italian way, because they're probably the best at using horns I've ever
Is
seen.
that right?
It's another form of communication, They can't use their body
That's
when
what
they're
it is.
driving, so it's the extension.
Yeah.
Here it comes, because there's nothing better than sitting in an Italian coffee shop and just watching people argue. Or just communicate.
Yeah.
It's so...
It's a communication, yeah.
It really is. There's
Yeah,
nothing, there's no other country like it.
The guy that took us to Capri, I think she was the one. Anyway, no, it was Florence. We did a Tuscany tour, and she's American, and her husband is Italian, and so she said, and they have a son who's Italian. So no, she was saying that how the way they communicate is very.
Oh yeah, it's animated.
Very animated. But it's not like they're. She the husband and son just go to. But they're not like they're arguing. That's just how they're talking.
It is, and especially like older gentlemen. Oh wow, it's amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing country.
Yeah, it is. I really
Yeah, I've
enjoyed
been there
it.
once, but Francesca Monastero was her name, so I left my heart in Italy. Actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, way back when.
Oh my gosh. You went there for her, or?
No, I met her on a trip
to
the island of Sardinia, and I met her on the ferry, and we've been friends ever since. So, but just timing wasn't quite right, but an amazing woman.
Francesca.
Okay, leave that off the air.
Okay.
I gotta be careful what I tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Be careful.
As long as first names are okay, last name's not so good. I'm still single, so I'm okay.
It is live on Facebook though, so just she were watching.
Very good, which she's not. So
We're it's 9 hours ahead, so 17th will be 5 p.m. there. So.
That's true. We're fine. And she hasn't. I haven't talked to her in a year, so we're okay.
We're okay. That's funny. Oh, and then he will give me signals when we're getting close to commercial break. So he'll give me fingers. That's how many minutes are left. So
Okay.
3, 2, 1, and then
Perfect.
C is commercial. But
Yep.
so where was the NPR at? Where's the weather station?
Well, it's Capital Public Radio. Sorry, that was the one over there off of what is that? Sunrise. There's the one over there by Sunrise. Greenback. No. Yeah, it's Greenback. I forgot the studio is. Not too far from where Arden. Oh my God, what is it? I don't know that part of town, but it's
Citrus Heights, Orangeville kind of area?
Yeah, there's a studio over there.
Okay.
That's where Lisa Cooper has her offices. Lisa Cooper's on Capital Radio. She's on our marketing subcommittee.
Okay, gotcha.
And so they donate time for us right before the gala, and then also for September Cancer Awareness Month, they give us spots.
Nice. also give out the number if someone wants to call in and ask questions. We'll see.
People call and ask questions.
Sometimes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we had a guy from Citrus Sites called Gene, I think, called a couple times.
Excellent.
When we had employee or HR issues.
Okay.
He called a couple of times. Not many, but you never know. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Numbers on Money 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. I am Mark Bellows. Katie McConnell is not here today. Katie was not able to make it. She had a prior engagement or something came up. So it's just me running the show today. I've got a guest who I'll introduce in a moment here. I'm back. We had my family and I, a nice 2-week trip. We'll get into that in a little bit too. So I'm a principal, a partner at Clifton Larson Allen, the nation's 8th largest CPA firm with offices here in the Roseville area, amongst other places throughout the nation. And I do taxes for manufacturing distribution type businesses. In fact, I run that practice here. And then I also work with construction, real estate, and various service type businesses, their owners, transition, that type of stuff. So that's my profession. I've been doing that for a long time. I always enjoy talking about that, what's going on. Unfortunately, we do not yet have a tax bill. I thought we would have one by now, since the Republicans have both the House and the Senate and the presidency, but so far they've been able to work it out. So I'm still hopeful that 2017 taxes will be lower than 16's were, but we're kind of running out of time, so we'll see what happens. With my guest today, though, Mr. Reed Baumgarten. Good morning, Reed.
Good morning, Mark.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, Reed is the executive director of Keaton Raphael Memorial, and we'll get into that in a moment, what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So your first time on this show.
Correct.
We had your predecessor on a couple years ago, Teresa, and
right.
So thank you for coming on the show. We're looking forward to finding out, our listeners be able to find out what KRM, Keaton Raphael Memorial, KRM is all about, what they do.
I'd be glad to share.
Upcoming gala, the types of things you're doing. I think I've been on the board of KRM for a few years now, and so I've seen lots going on. Since in the last couple of years, so I'm interested. It'll be good for you to kind of let our listeners know what we do and what you've been doing and
very good.
Things changing.
Let me just start with kind of what our mission is, and that kind of sets the grounding
for
where we're at. But our mission really is to assist children that are diagnosed with pediatric cancer and their families with educational, emotional, and financial support, as well as increase awareness around pediatric oncology and pediatric cancer, and also increase funding towards a cure for cancer is what we're really charged to do. And all our events really revolve around that specifically.
So KRM is a not-for-profit organization, and for kids that get diagnosed with some type of cancer and that are going to have to spend time in hospitals and doctors' offices and treatment and that type of stuff, they typically are going to have family members with them.
That is correct.
And the family members, a lot of times, it's the time away from work. It's them getting back and forth to the hospital. It's spending time away from home. It's all that kind of stuff is challenging for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and that's where KRM has been able to step in.
Absolutely.
Families.
I usually start off there's 3 key points I'd like to point out when it comes to pediatric cancer. The first point, as you just kind of alluded to, is the family. Is that it targets the entire family. Right. Children. They are dependent upon their parents. As you know, as a parent yourself,
yes.
And when it happens at a young age, it really throws everyone through a loop and turns the lives of everyone upside down. Pediatric cancer doesn't discriminate, when it comes to regards to ethnicity, race, or socioeconomic standing. So we have families that make less than $25,000, and we have families that make over $100,000. It all depends on their individual situation.
Sure.
And the last major point is that no family can ever prepare for that news.
How could you?
Yeah. And so with that, yes, when we look at what we do is we really try to build that support network around that family, because of that life being turned upside down and families having to then grapple with all of a sudden these situations with regards to the treatment of the child And what you can't see on the radio is my hands moving here. But
Yeah.
I guess we're on
Facebook
Facebook Live. Hello. So get used to this. But I mean, for the family trying to grapple with all this, as one could only begin to imagine, is that the average course of treatment for a child is almost 2 years.
Wow.
Okay, and so if it's a fortunate situation where there's two parents, one of those parents has to decide who's going to be leaving their job.
Yeah.
And so with that, they're losing half of their income. And so then it becomes this adjustment, okay, how do we support this? How do we maintain what we're doing? And so that's where it really doesn't depend on the socioeconomic standing, because obviously the more money we make, the better lifestyles we want. And so with that, we depend on both incomes. But now a family's put in a situation where, okay, really, we've had this lifestyle, we have to change. And that is uniform and common amongst all families.
Right.
It's gonna cost change.
Yeah.
And so with that, we wanna be able to get the family to focus on what's most important, and that is taking care of the child and helping them recover from this, new diagnosis. And so with that comes basically sitting down with the family, and that's our Family Navigator program, which is our core program. And best way to kind of touch on it very quickly is we're kind of like a Grand Central Station. So when a child is diagnosed, our Family Navigators contact the family, and then basically...
Well, and step back,
Yeah.
when a child is diagnosed, then the local hospitals
Oh,
that we
yes.
work with, they contact us.
Correct.
Right?
We don't
KRM.
actively
Yeah.
search for
Yeah, yeah.
children, so we partner with UC Davis Comprehensive Cancer Center, the Sutter Cancer Center, and the Kaiser Cancer Centers throughout Northern California. We work indirectly with Mercy simply because they don't have a pediatric oncology, but their children go to one of the facilities. So we work very closely, and they refer every newly diagnosed child to us.
We've been working with Children's Hospital Local.
That's right. UCF Benioff Children's Hospital Oakland as well.
Yeah.
It's been a very good partner for us for many years.
So the child will go be diagnosed with cancer of some sort, and then that's when the hospital contacts us, KRM, you.
Yeah, the social workers or child life specialists at each facility will do an initial line assessment depending on determining the need for that family. And so based upon their assessment, they then refer them to us. Most commonly is the financial need, but we also get the emotional need when they realize that they need a little bit extra support.
So they will be introduced to KRM, and then KRM starts with the Family Navigator Core program.
That's exactly right.
And so how does that process work?
So when they refer to us, the Family Navigators, we get the information, the application comes through, we approve the application, and then one of our Family Navigators or our interns, because we work very closely with Sac State, they've got an amazing social work internship program, and we've been very fortunate. We will assign a family to each of the interns or navigator, and then they contact the family directly.
Okay.
And from there, we do an assessment to determine what those family's needs are. And then it goes from there.
And we address, like you said, the financial needs and the emotional needs of the family, and it's the parents, it can be siblings. I mean, there's a lot of people that are affected.
That's
by
exactly
a
right.
child's cancer diagnosis.
That's exactly right. I mean, as you can imagine, the child that's ill, that has a cancer, becomes the focal point of a family. And if there's brothers and sisters, just because of circumstance, they sometimes can be forgotten about a little bit, and so we make sure that they're not forgotten. And that they also receive resources. So when we first do a visit, our first line, the groundbreaker, is basically our hope chest. And so that is actually designed to actually break down barriers so we can open lines of communication. And that opens up a lot of other avenues.
And what types of things are in the hope chest?
So we've got a blanket that is actually made by volunteers that actually sew it for us, or local church groups. We've got books for the children as well. Everything is themed based upon the child's favorite colors and superheroes or whatever their idol is. And then we have books for the siblings. We have journals for everybody. But we cater it to however that family's made up, depending on the number of siblings and family members. So we make sure everybody's covered.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we get back, we'll talk about that a little more.
Sounds
about how you guys, based on the interview with the family, put together the hope chest, and then where we go from there.
Perfect.
Listen to Beyond the Numbers on 91.55 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. We'll be right back.
How am I doing?
Great.
Okay.
Probably have 2 minutes before 2 minutes of commercials. Then we'll
Okay,
be back on,
good.
So.
Yeah, just guide me where you want to go. So.
This is good. This is good. It's going great.
Because I've got way too much information, as Cabay said. I'm trying to make sure I keep it succinct and I go off on all these tangents. So
No,
thank
it's
you.
good. Yeah.
This is kind of fun.
Good.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about what you look like.
It's dark.
So when you're working with the Facebook Live, I mean, do you ever address it, or do they just basically watch what we're doing? So they can
They
hear
watch
everything
what
we're
we
saying
do.
right now.
They can, if they type in questions, I would address them.
Okay.
And then what happens is that when I get back to the office today, I'll try to do it today if I've got time, or it'll be Friday. I'll convert it to a video that I'll put on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
And then I'll link to it through LinkedIn and Facebook so you can access the video.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool.
So we have the live now, and then it'll be archived in part of a YouTube video.
Here.
So, yeah.
Production manager.
I could use an intern to do all this for me. There's you've heard of Mark Haney, but Mark Haney,
sure.
He does his entrepreneur podcast and stuff, and he's got a team of people do it. So I always watch this stuff and go, okay, I want to be like that someday. I've got like 2 or 3 production assistants taking care of the 3 camera angles.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. They probably write a script, or he writes a script and the editor, whatever it is. But it's just Katie and I pushing the buttons. And
too funny. Those have all been on NPR with regards to Capitol Hill paying their interns. You're going to listen to that right now?
No.
Okay.
No, NPR. So what is it?
So basically, most interns in Capitol in Washington D.C. are now paid.
Right, I've heard that.
And so there's a big controversy about paying them. And so the Republicans actually pay better than the Democrats. So, so about 50% of the Republican senators actually pay, 40% of the Democrats actually pay. But there's a big push to pay all of them.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do that.
No, of course not.
Because most of them don't have the money themselves.
Well, I watched a movie on the plane called Miss Sloan. It came out last year, but it's all about lobbyists in D.C., the effect that they have, and so. And we're back to listen to Beyond the Numbers on 91.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. As I mentioned earlier, Katie is not here today. I had been gone a couple weeks. My family and I were in Italy for 2 full weeks. We've mentioned you have been to Italy before.
I have, yes.
Yeah, you spent a week in Florence?
I did,
yeah,
yes.
Nice. Yeah, we spent 3 days roughly in Venice, 3 in Florence, 4 on the Sorrento coast in a farmhouse that had a lot of olives.
Oh, okay.
Because you're an olive oil
I am
guy.
definitely an olive oil enthusiast.
Yes. And then our last 2.5, 3 days in Rome. So beautiful country. It was it was a good trip. Tiring. It's a lot of walking. It's a lot of walking.
And a lot of eating.
And a lot of eating. And a lot of the same eating.
That is true, but it never gets old. It never gets old.
Yeah, so we enjoyed it. Had a great time. So you do olive oil.
Yeah, that is kind of my hobby.
This is not Keaton, Raphael.
This is totally separate.
This is Reed.
Getting behind the numbers of Reed now.
Yes.
But let's see. About back in 2007, I really got turned on olive oil. One, because I had recently been diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic.
Okay.
And so I had to change my dietary, and everyone kept saying, change the butter, go to olive oil.
Yeah, right.
And in doing that was when it turned out one of my last trip to Italy was when I went to Florence.
Right.
And so I actually had to stop in Spain before that because I have friends who live in Madrid, and I decided to take a trip down to Seville area, and I got lost. Luckily found a little place, and when I woke up there was a festival going on for the families that harvest all the olive oil.
Oh, wow.
And 8 million trees. I mean, it's the largest production of olive oil in the world.
So Seville.
It's around, so rather closer to Cordoba, in
okay.
the high-end region of
okay.
Spain. And after that festival and having everything you can ever imagine, any way you possibly use and eat olive oil, it just got, I was completely, very romantically changed. We got the experience of olive oil. And from then on, I actually took classes with UC Santa Rosa Extension to UC Davis, and still actually work a little bit with the UC Davis Century Evaluation Center. In fact, at our gala, we're actually getting a donation of an olive oil experience from the Mondavi Center, where Dan Flynn, the executive director, is actually going to be hosting 10 people on a seminar, basically learning about olive oil, the constituencies of it, good, bad, and the ugly of it.
Right.
And then we're doing a lunch pairing over at Hot Italian in Davis. So that's one of our auction items.
And we'll talk about the gala a little bit. That's a big fundraiser for Keaton.
But for me personally, I've got a 10-acre ranch that I live on up in between Jackson and Ione.
Okay.
And so I've been growing olives on there for the last 5 years.
Oh, really?
And I've got 9 different varieties, and each one has its own flavor characteristics.
Oh, yeah.
So not only it's, you get to blend and mix and match, because I do everything myself.
You press your own and all that.
I do. I got a little makeshift press I've made, so I grind it, maxillate it, and press it, and it's so good.
Wow.
Now, were you there the day I brought it in and tasted it for the board?
I don't think I was.
You were, but I gave him a little bit of a sample.
Okay,
of it,
nice.
And it's just, there's nothing like fresh olive oil.
Oh, yeah.
And California has amazing olive oil in the state. Amazing. It's fresh, and that's the best way to have it.
Yeah, and when we were on the Sorrento coast, we we stayed at a farmhouse, an old farmhouse that's now kind of a hotel kind of thing. But they have it's an active olive ranch, if you will, and plus other fruits and vegetables, I think. But certainly lots of olive trees, 40 or 50, 100, whatever, some number. But they have the nets tied up between them. I guess
it's a catch.
So what time is there a certain time of year when you unravel the nets because they're all rolled up?
Yeah, basically it's a one season crop.
Okay.
And so right now we're looking at usually late September, October is when you harvest it and press it after that. So they start unrolling those nets because they use traditional shaking. So
they do they human shake?
Well, they do a combination of,
okay.
Some people up in the trees to pick with ladders. Okay. They'll have shakers where they shake the trunk and shake it and catch it into the nets.
Okay, yeah.
But then also it's just to catch it, because they just fall off as well. You don't want to let anything go to waste.
Of course.
You can still, like, if you get it when it's very green, you get a much more pungent, bitter taste. So olivo nuevo, which is very strong, which people like. Or if you wait later in the harvest season, you get more of a buttery aspect to it.
Nice.
So it all depends on what the consumer likes.
Right.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. Well, that sounds like a good experience. I look forward to hearing a little more about that.
Oh, absolutely.
So going back to the navigator.
Yes.
So the navigator does this interview, if you will, of the family. Comes with the family and puts together the hope chest.
That's right. So
and then presents the hope chest to the family and
well, yeah. Just step back. So through the application that we ask the hospitals to fill out when they refer a family to us, that's the questionnaire that helps us design the actual hope chest. And then we unveil the hope chest as kind of a surprise to the family, and we prefer to meet the family while they're at the hospital, while the child's getting treatment. But some circumstances we can't do that just because of distance, or time doesn't work out, so we'll send them. But ideally, the navigator will go to the hospital while the child is getting treatment, and that's where we then present all the wonderful goodies in the hope chest box. And what we find is that, from experience, is that because families, basically, it doesn't matter what's going on in their life at this point in time for the parents. Everything is about the child, as anyone would naturally do. Yeah. And so they neglect themselves, in order to protect their kid.
Sure.
And so when we go there to show the child, and give the child the blanket to warm up, because one of the main side effects of the treatments is the child's body temperature, core temperature goes way down. They get very cold. It's kind of like being in a constant fever. Right. And so the blanket is really wonderful because the child's immediately gravitated and they warm up. And what is amazing to see is that any little gift, and that's just not for any child, that's anyone in life. When you give somebody a gift, they warm up. Yeah. But when you see in the child who's just really drained of energy because of the treatment, and the blood goes back, the rose of the cheeks reemerges, and a smile starts to form because they haven't seen a smile in weeks for most of these kids. And then the parents see that, and it is very emotional because it's great to see the child have a moment of just being taken away from where they've been at in their world and just a little bit of distraction. And so with that, the parents see that, and all of a sudden, they let their guard down. An example was we were down at UCF Benioff Children's Hospital, and we're also at Oakland Kaiser, and we were presenting a hope chest. The package, when we went into the room, we gave the blanket and all the goodies, we get a little doll that's monogrammed with their initial on it. That's also, everything is made by volunteers. Right. Very fortunate. Yeah. And so the child's face just lit up. When we first walked in, when we asked, how are you doing, what do you need, the mother's response was, I'm fine, I don't need anything. I'm here for my child. Right. And then when that moment of just pause, so to speak, happened, the mother, teared up, leaned over, because we had a guest with us from one of our donors, and leaned over to the person and said, what, I actually really do need help. And so the hope chest is really it is research and scientifically designed to break down the barriers. We need to get the communication going, and that's how we can truly assess where the family's at. And so when that happens, the trust is formed and it starts to develop at that point, and then our family navigators can either at that session or follow up, because we're constantly reaching out to them. Right. We don't want them feeling that they're alone, because that's all about that support now, which goes above and beyond. Yeah. And so from that point on, when the trust is formed through our navigators, and again, these are social workers by training, bachelor students for the interns, and then we're working with master social worker students as well. They know how to take their skill set and basically establish that bond with the family, and from there, they will then tell us what are the complications, what are the stressors, because our goal at that point is to alleviate all those stressors so they can focus on what's most important. And from there, we can design a specific path for that family to help them in any of those needs, or send them in other directions. For example, working with other organizations or businesses that provide in-kind services. One I always like to showcase is Bell Brothers Heating and Air. It's been one of our great partners for a long time. And they have replaced entire AC units for families at no cost.
Wow.
You know, and they just go above and beyond all the time. And, you know, living here in Central Valley, as we definitely know now, we don't have heat issues here. So, as you can imagine how important it is to have an environmentally controlled room for their child when they come home.
Yeah.
But that's just one of 230 local businesses that we work with throughout Northern California. And that includes the Oakland area as well.
Right, right. So they'll get the hope chest, the family kind of gets the bond established, and then we work with the family through the child's treatment.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and additionally, the other thing too is in the Hope Chest, we give each family a $500 financial stipend as well to help out. Most of the families we get do have financial difficulties,
Right.
And so when the diagnosis occurs, a lot of times they forget about the little things that we just normally just do by habit. You know, paying bills, you know, automobile maintenance,
Sure.
and so they can use that, you know, to help with co-pays with treatment, however they see fit. But then it doesn't just stop there. You know, we then also continue to provide different types of food cards, gas cards, you know, anything that can help in any different situation. And then again, and linking up with organizations, because we can't possibly do everything. And we're just fortunate to be able to touch where we can. And so we've been very fortunate and are continuing to be very fortunate with our partners in the business community. And you go on our website, you can see who they are, but we're constantly getting new partners all the time, because you can actually interact with our families. You know, it's really a hands-on, and as true support should be, it should be hands-on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're only able to do what we do because of the community around us, such as individuals like yourself, for example.
Well, the website you mentioned is www.childcancer.org.
That is correct.
It's a newly relaunched website.
We revamped it. We made
great.
it much cleaner, much
use,
easier to flow
nicer
through.
on the phone.
Right. Well, that was a big thing. Is that our mobile platform with the old website? It didn't flow. It wasn't designed for the mobile platform.
Right.
And so the new one, you can go on there and it's easy to flow. Perfect. And I want to thank DMS Branding for doing that, and Al Godin Creative for also helping us with the artwork.
I think Facebook. Hopefully you can see that.
Well, very good. But yeah, no. You can go on there and get all the information you want to find out about us, as well as donate. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can actually continue to help and support what we do. So,
and if people want to get hold of Reed, they can call 916-784-6786, which is the number of Keaton Raphael Memorial, or www.childcancer.org, or reed.baumgarten, BAUNGARTEN, at childcancer.org. And your business address is a new one, going to be started the first of the month.
Correct.
Which is just moving suites, but same building. 2260 Douglas Boulevard will be suite 140 in Roseville. And that's kind of the main, that's the office where you operate out of.
Yes.
But really the work is done in the hospital.
It is.
Kids, yeah.
It is. You know,
throughout. Well, and the various functions. We'll talk about that in a little bit maybe after the commercial break. But not only do we go to the hospitals, but we also have Funderland, and we have other outside activities for the families.
Right.
You
know, as all nonprofits, you know, we're always looking for additional funding sources.
Yeah, always, yes.
But we break it up where we have dedicated fundraising programs like the Gala and the St. Paul Drinks, which we can talk about as well, which takes place in March, which is a hair-losing event.
Yes.
But then we also have...
more so for some
people. Some of us are handicapped to begin with. But we also do family-oriented events. They're not intended to be fundraisers, which are really meant to bring the families in, and that would be our Holly Jolly and our Funderland events, specifically, where we bring them together and just basically take them out of their day-to-day and let them have a really good time and be around other people.
Well, let's take a break there. We're going to go to commercial. When we get back, let's talk a little bit more about those particular events right there.
Sure.
And then we'll go back into the fundraising, or go to the fundraising part. You're listening to Beyond the Numbers on Monday 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. We'll be right back. You're doing great.
I appreciate it. Well, you're making it easy.
Good. That's my job.
it's gone.
Oh.
Of course, they couldn't get into the building, so it's not up. So
It's not an
I
option.
this the email's no longer there. Yeah, no, I'm selling my house downtown right now, and so
Okay.
we got multiple offers in. So we've got a
Congratulations.
little bidding war going on.
Nice.
So yeah.
How come you're selling it?
When I decided to go to nonprofit, I had to change my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, to say the least. And so it's just, I'm not there as much, and I love the ranch, and I had a tenant in there for 5 years, and they were great, and originally they were going to buy it, and then they decided to move down to LA, and I'm like, you know what, at this point, the market's as good as it's ever going to get to sell.
Where is it at?
12th and 13th P&Q.
Oh wow, that's
Right
a great
downtown.
area.
Oh yeah, and it's a home.
That's
and
a nice area.
yeah, 3 bedroom, 3 bath.
Central, nice.
Yeah,
location.
1,800 square feet, 2-car
Wow.
garage.
How's the house?
The house is 17 years old, so it's not that old.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Is it a multi-story?
No, it's less than that, because it's been 12, it's 12 years old.
Is it a multi-story? Or?
It is. So it's 3 levels, so it's designed to be like a work-live loft, so the downstairs has its own 7 entrance and its own bathroom. And then that connects to the 2-car garage behind, and then upstairs is the main living room. I got 20-foot vaulted ceilings and a loft bedroom upstairs. So it was fun, but then I got dogs and it was hard. And
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it just, the offers came in at full asking price.
That's great.
So it
Well,
was
and
the right
I've heard
time.
a lot of that. There's a lot of that where people, offers are coming in full asking or more.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
because there's
bidding
such low
wars.
inventory right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
And the location's just awesome. So and
That's
it's
a great
just,
location.
you know, just allows me to readjust what I need to do for myself financially. So that gives me a little bit more freedom, so I don't have to worry about it.
Good.
You know, and then the banks are like, well, your income versus your debt ratio on these mortgages. So
Yeah.
that was the other thing.
Do
they were
something
hitting me
about
on.
that.
Oh my
Gosh.
Lord, talk about behind the numbers. So,
Dang bankers.
but they were like, you need to, if you want to get loans, you're not going to give me a loan based on the debt income ratio.
Yeah.
So that was the other reason why I just figured out, and you know what, it's okay. I can work on my all this morning. But it's happy to see those come in. Well, then also Jennifer, Mayor Maher from Sutter, she's actually stepping down.
Oh,
this
she?
year. Yeah, she kind of alluded.
She's been doing it for something on at least 3 years
Yeah.
or 6 or something.
Yeah, 6 years.
Terms, yeah. So that's
But she had alluded because of the commute going back and forth.
yeah.
And if Pat Brady was leaving Sutter, Roseville, then she would look at that. But she's out in Davis, Woodland.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of commuting time.
So she got someone.
She's gonna have to replacement she's working on right now. It's not definite, but she's gonna replace because we need that representation.
Yeah.
But change is good. How much time we got? It's okay. So, are you enjoying the CLA merger?
Yeah.
Was it a big change, or for you, day in, day out, or not so much?
Really, a little bit, but not too bad.
Okay.
Not too bad. It's been good. It's been good for a lot of reasons.
So how big was Galena? Because it wasn't small.
No, it was about 300 people,
Okay.
50 partners.
Oh, well, now how many partners are there? What's CLA?
500.
Wow. Okay.
Like 7,000 people. It's a lot bigger. But yeah, Galena had some. I mean, Galena was a great firm. It definitely had some issues with the way. I mean, the partnership agreement and the way partners transition their work and you transition older partners and new ones come in, et cetera. That was all designed when the firm was very small. And so by the time. And we're back. You listen to Beyond the Numbers of Money 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. Reed and I are just talking business here about business. So anyway, hey, real quick, before we get into Holly Jolly and the Funland stuff, some of the other things that we do, the KRM does. I keep saying we. KRM does.
Well, you're part of it.
I am.
We use part of it because it's the community. So,
but maybe give us a little bit about a little bit of your background.
sure. So
You're new to not-for-profits with this role.
that is correct.
So, new to being an executive director, I should say.
Yes.
So what did you do before? What should have been your career history?
So my career history, I actually graduated from UC Davis with a degree in animal husbandry,
All right.
specializing in breeding horses
Okay.
as a pre-vet major. But from there, I actually, when I first got out of college, I was enjoying the outdoors, so I actually ran the outdoor adventures at UC Davis, the rafting, sea kayaking, whitewater kayaking program, which led into a little bit of management for California Canoe and Kayak, which is also a local company. So
Yes.
my heart is still with California Canoe and Kayak.
Okay, yeah.
But
I
from-
think we've gone. I think we've done the activity
Yeah,
before.
no, and they're supporters of us. They give us, again, for our gala, they gave us another free lesson for either paddleboard or sea kayaking.
Thank you, California Canoe Kayak.
Exactly. So, but from there, I actually took the sciences and went to work in big pharma for Zeneca Pharmaceuticals at the time, and then it became AstraZeneca, and I specialized in oncology products. So, started off here locally as a sales rep, working with all the cancer centers in Northern California, including Northern Nevada. And then became a regional trainer in Chicago, moved to Chicago, and then became a national trainer in marketing and moved to Delaware on the East Coast. So all in all, I spent 15 years in oncology for the most part with AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals. And then I decided to go more of the entrepreneurial route, which led me into not only the olive oils, but also starting up a little metal manufacturing company in antimicrobial copper, all still healthcare related, just taking advantage of the bactericidal aspect of copper, because it's naturally killed. So while I was doing that and trying getting that off the ground, you know, like any businesses, you learn about price points and trying to get the cost of production down, and wasn't quite able to get the cost of production of copper products down, and so we still have the business on the side, but toned it down a little bit. And then while I was going through all that, I received a phone call from one of your fellow board members, Kathy Barrington, asked me if I would be interested in doing nonprofit work, because I've always been involved in social causes. Part of my background is going to international school called the Inaugural Colleges, where the focus is on international understanding and foreign relations. And so from that, I've always had more of a community involvement aspect. And so it just, ironically, when I first got the call, I was like, okay, you know, because at that point you're trying to figure out what's my next move from the business side, how I want to take it. But I went, interviewed,
and Teresa, your predecessor was retiring.
And right, so she had decided to retire, so they were looking for a new person. And so suffice to say, probably the most fortunate thing that ever happened to my professional career was actually being offered the position. And it's been the most rewarding experience I've had so far. But it's been great being able to tie back on the previous relations we've had in oncology and understand the oncology market. So,
is it a true statement or fair statement to say that childhood cancer doesn't get as much, I don't know, funding, et cetera, as maybe some of the adult type cancers? As much, I don't know.
Well, from the number side, you know, that's a fair point.
That's, I don't know, publicity is the right
I
word,
mean,
but
it's not so much that, but if you...
It's more of a challenge with getting funding for research for childhood cancer.
Yes.
That's true, right?
Well, absolutely.
Typically, yeah.
Well, because if you look at the national scope...
And real quick, too.
Yeah.
Childhood cancer, it sounds like a very, just one type, but there are many types of, just like any other cancer, there are many types of childhood cancer, so.
Yeah, I mean, cancer
many
present
types.
in what we call a blood type cancers, leukemias to soft tumors to bone, hard tumors. I mean, so it can represent itself. You never know where it's going to show up. But in looking at the total numbers of cancer across the nation, less than 1% of all diagnosed cancers are pediatric diagnoses.
Okay.
So 99% of all cancers diagnosed are in the adult sector.
Right.
So from a pharma aspect and from a business aspect, you put your resources where the numbers tell you to go. And so with that, about 4% of funding in the NCI national funding actually only goes towards pediatric cancer research. And so that's why there's been a big push over the years, decades now, to augment that through nonprofit organizations. Not just ourselves, I mean, we're one of many.
And let's talk a little bit about that, because we've talked about so far, and we didn't really get into polygel, we'll get into that in a minute, but one of the things the KRM does is provides the family navigator and the assistance to the families, but also KRM is very much involved with research into childhood cancer and cures, et cetera. So let's talk a little bit about that as well.
Well, yeah,
how we're filling that role you just mentioned.
Right, so with advocacy and research, so I mean, like I said before, we're trying to increase the awareness around the area, and so at the local level, we do advocacy work. The founder of the organization, Raphael, every organization starts with one child, and in this case, Keaton Raphael was her child, and 20 years ago, he was diagnosed, and he battled for 7 months and unfortunately did not survive. But from that experience, Robin started this, and to her credit, we're here 20 years later.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Robin, because of her personal connection, I have not had a child that's died with cancer, and so I don't have that personal connection, but Robin is very good with regards to the national advocacy. And so now Robin actually works with St. Baldrick's Foundation. So that's our partner on the national level. But it's very important to continue to raise funds for research. And so we made a point of holding our, basically our St. Baldrick's partnership for Shave the Head celebrations in March, where we host locally about 10 events here, and I know that you've been with last year we were our largest individual fundraiser
in Roseville.
In Roseville, yes, in Roseville.
Taro did much better.
Taro, Trim from McCooney's, and Henry and Simon DeVere from the DeVeres.
Course,
I mean, this year was an incredible year.
Wow, that's great.
It broke all kinds of numbers we never anticipated. But you know, with that, we have a great partner in Marquee Media and Michael Wegner, and they, together with their video as well as their digital billboards around town, allowed us to take the awareness level to a level we never ever really thought we could reach.
And so we Keaton Raphael Memorial, through the partnership with St. Baldrick's, was that we're able to get a lot of the money, like the money that I raised through my shows and I had everybody else. That money goes directly to St. Baldrick's, and they fund childhood cancer research, and we're able to get some of those funds local.
Right, by hosting the events and through an agreement we have with them, we're able to keep a small portion of the funds for local research. And we are the largest, as an organization, private donor to the UC Davis Comprehensive Cancer Center. And we've been doing this now, we've raised a total of over $1.5 million donated to UC Davis itself, and we raised over $7 million total in the last 15 years.
Right.
So, no, I mean, and that money that we raise goes from us and directly back into the community. And that's what it's for. And it's been a wonderful event for us to give us a foothold and awareness about what we do in this organization, but more importantly, the community, by getting involved, such as yourself, it's through the various events at various locations. We do it with the Kings, we do it with the River Cats, Westfield Mall, the DeVere's downtown, and some quite a few couple schools we do it with as well. In Elk Grove, we do it with BJ's in combination down there as well. But between the community,
and we always have the police, the firemen. I mean, they're huge supporters of.
Oh yeah, they were doing burpees at our Westfield Mall. Go figure that one out. I do think that fireman was actually flirting with our MC that day. No names involved, but I mean, we had 32 firefighters from Sac Metro show up at Westfield. They did put a challenge out to the Roseville Fire Department. I know they're going to respond next week.
Yeah, good.
But we have badgings all the way from Oakland all the way up to the foothills. And the Children's Hospital, UC Benioff Children's Hospital, Oakland is another venue that we co-host with. And so we're able to raise a lot of money for that hospital, and that's one of the few remaining children's hospitals in the United States dedicated solely for children. But we are able to bring such awareness, bring the community together, have so much fun for the cause of putting funds towards research, and do it locally, which is so unique, as well as do it on a national level, because we rely on St. Baldrick's to be our national voice. They're positioned for it. They got a great team there, and they're able to take it what we can't. And so why duplicate the wheel? It's a great synergy relationship, and we take full advantage of it.
So St. Baldrick's is the national voice for childhood cancer research. We also have local funds that go to UC Davis, as we mentioned, and then KRM also, in addition to doing that, also provides the Family Navigator program to the kids and the families.
Yes.
And we have the Holly Jolly and the Funderland. You want to touch on those real quick before we go to commercial?
Certainly. And the Holly Jolly and the Funderland, are dedicated specifically for families. So the Holly Jolly is what we do around Christmas time, and then we bring about 350 kids and their families to. Last year we did it at the where do we have it? I'm blanking on the name. But anyways, this year we're having it at Citrus Heights, this community center.
Okay. All right.
So we'll have all the families there as well, and we bring them in. We've got food and activities, and every kid gets a present when they show up, and bring in the community. The CVS Pharmacy in particular is our biggest sponsor of that. They actually bring Santa in, I believe it was from St. Louis, and Mrs. Claus came from Hawaii. But they do a Build-A-Bear, and so they bring in a staff of like 25, and they build these bears for all the kids, so every kid gets a Build-A-Bear that shows up.
That's awesome.
And then we have other partners, with Team Giving helps us bring in.
Take a break. Sorry, commercial break. Well, when we get back, we'll finish up with Funderland, and then we'll go into a little bit more things. So we're talking with Reed Baumgarten, the executive director of Keaton Raphael Memorial. Listen to Beyond the Numbers.
I'm gonna have facts going on.
I know, isn't it?
But I think we'll end with just because with the end, probably to touch on, which is how many kids are currently diagnosed in Northern California.
And let's definitely touch on the gala.
Yeah, we'll touch on the gala.
So maybe we will finish up
in our golf tournament as well.
These are the fundraisers, and then talk about
the two fundraisers. Yep. Sounds good.
Perfect. And anything else you want to touch on that we have?
I think we're good. Yeah, you're flowing.
Good.
Don't give a guy a mic, you know.
It's funny because people a lot of times will come with, a lot of the guests will come with things prepared, and you know, it's not just God, an hour. How can they talk about so much in an hour? You know,
Oh, it's easy.
time flies. So
It's easy, yeah.
because I like the conversational style.
I do too.
That we're doing so.
That's very much so. But,
So we had a woman on a few months ago, sharp lady, and she's written a few books, and as soon as she mentioned the books, I'm like, okay, this is not going to be a normal interview where, like, I've read all her books and I can ask her about salient points. I mean, that's what someone, you know, an interviewer would do, but this is just conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sorry, I've not read your books, but we'll talk about it. You can talk whatever you want about it. So.
I remember when I had an interview for the international school, of course, they asked about books I read, and it wasn't like he asked me if I read it. The interview goes, "This one book, I don't know, Less Than Zero." Did you ever hear about that one, Bret Easton Ellis?
Yeah, wasn't that didn't they make that movie with
Yes.
Andrew
So
Carnegie or something?
he was a student at the high school I went to.
Okay.
And so it was based upon the kids at that high school that I went to.
Yeah.
And so he was a year older than my brother. And so the guy just assumed because I went to the Buckley school that I knew them. And so the question was, so this great book, I mean, could you, and I'm like, sure. Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of like that. And then after the interview, he's like, "You're a good book." I go, "No, but you never asked me if I read the book." He's like, "That's true, I never did. I just assumed." But I said, "I can go along with it. You tell me the information will flow."
Yeah.
So that actually was what got me into the school, was that rebut. So
that's funny.
Yeah, he's like, you held your own.
Oh, that's great. 30 seconds.
Yeah, don't be late this time, okay?
What's that?
You were
Yeah, I
scared.
know. Thanks. Ah. And we're back. You're listening to Beyond the Numbers on 91.55 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network. I have my headphone cords wrapped around the wheel of the chair, so I'll just be careful not to pull it out. Hazards of the job, I guess. So we're talking to Reed Baumgarten, the Executive Director of Keaton Rock Memorial. If you want to get a hold of Reed, 916-784-6786. You can also go to www.childcancer.org. And you can email him, reed.baumgarten@childcancer.org. So we're talking about Holly Jolly, which sounds like a great event, and then also we get Fenderland.
Right. So the family that owns Funderland, every year they do a program where they'll give us a percentage of the ticket sales, but more importantly, they open it up for free to all of our families and kids. And so this last year, it's in June every year,
Okay.
Even with the heat we've had this summer, we had about 300 kids and families there, as well as the general public. It was a packed house, and it was a ton of fun. And I do have to put a shout out to the Americans Motorcycle Club. So if you've ever seen Sons of Anarchy, you know this is what it is. But these men and women in this club have the biggest hearts
Huge
you could ever
supporters.
imagine.
They've been phenomenal.
You know, and to Showtime and Mexican Mike, I just want to thank you guys because they were willing to sit with some kids and put some tattoos on their tattoos of smiley faces and things like that. But
That's cool.
they completely amazed me. One day, it's a funny story, they showed up at our office completely unannounced, and Melinda, our office manager, was there, and Squatch, who was the kind of like the president of the club, who walked in, unannounced, and Melinda was like, "I think you're at the wrong location." And they came and they were smiling, and they were saying that they were looking for a new organization, and they actually saw me last year in front of Evangeline's, because we were doing the gala on the 1920s themes, and so we were doing costumes, and I had my deer in the headlights moment, and so I kind of froze, and I guess they, out of the sympathy of their heart, they said, "We got to give this guy in this organization some help." But they came with a check, just totally unannounced, and they did the same thing again in Funderland. They came with another check, and they came with the crew. We heard them coming on the motorcycles, and they just took it to another level, as well as local fire departments. But the families, it's that day out of the norm, and it's what it's all about, is bringing the families together, and more importantly, is helping them forge a relationship with other parents, because all these parents are so, again, tunnel vision on this, that they don't realize that they're not the only ones going through this. And so when they go with other parents at these events, they build bridges and develop an even stronger network of support, which is great for the families to get together. And so that's what the Holly Jolly, as well as the Funderland, do together. And we also, real quick, we do the Adopt a Family.
Okay.
So companies can actually, donate gifts. And so we worked with 60 families last year, up from 35 from the previous year. And we're looking to grow it even more. So there's businesses that during the holiday times, because a lot of these families are like, Christmas is an afterthought because they got too many other pressing things. We bring Christmas back to them, and so we take put a list together of families, and we pair up businesses with families, and they get gifts together for the families so they can have a wonderful Christmas.
So if business is interested in doing Adopt a Family, they contact you.
Yes, they can call the charity.
916-784-676, or go to the website www.childcouncil.org, and you can see the phone number there. And
Right.
there.
And all these kids events, we're always looking for volunteers, so you can also go to the website to sign up for volunteers, because we can't do this without volunteers.
And we have a board of directors.
We do.
Which I'm a part of, and so...
We'll take anybody, apparently. So.
Apparently so. You've kept me on for a few years. So board of directors, that helps guide and steer things, of course, like any nonprofit needs to have. Tell us about the staff you have. It's not a big staff.
No.
I mean, most of the money that we raise goes back into program and
Correct.
research. So.
Correct. So, I mean, we're proud to say that 88 cents on every dollar we raise goes to programs. 12% goes for fund development as well as staff.
Right.
I staff is 2 full-time, myself and a development coordinator, Patty. And then we have an office manager, or I call her my COO. She's like, where's the pay that goes with it? But that's Melinda, and Melinda is just a godsend. Yes. And then we have Jessica Alonso, who is our family navigator. She directs our family navigator program. And she, with all credit, is due to her with regards to what this program has become. And because of her dedication and her ability to connect with people like I've never seen. She's an old soul, but just people open up to her like no one I've ever seen. And with that care and that love she provides, we've grown this into now where we're touching between kids and everything probably 700, over 700 kids and family members each year. But with that, we've now brought on Sarah Perry, who's now our assistant director, family navigator, and then we have interns, 3 full-time interns over the summer, and then 3 part-time over the school year. Then we have Tammy Mackey, who is our events coordinator and our donation getter guru. I mean, she's going to get a donation from me if you haven't heard from her. And then we have Debbie Gomes, who is our support for our development as well as our events as well. And that's myself, and I don't think I'm leaving anybody out. That's our core. So, we have a new person, a part-time person, Alicia Schrum. She's now helping with our new website and marketing as well, social.
And we have multiple interns?
Yes.
So we use throughout the year?
Right. So Sac State has been an incredible partner with regards to the quality of interns we're getting, and we're blown away every year with who they send, who we were able to obtain. We don't get to choose, but I mean, right now we have Deja, we have Natalie, and we have Myra, and they are fantastic.
Great.
And then we have 3 more coming after the summer. They leave us, and the great thing is that their contributions to the program, because honestly, most of the change that comes from family navigator programs comes through their input and their contact with the families, because it's great to have fresh eyes.
That's good. And so all of this, the people, the programs, the things we provide, all cost money, of course.
They do.
So KRM, you get some grants.
We do.
Various places, corporate grants. Is there a government funding?
We do not actually get any state or federal. Yeah,
so it's all corporate grants, and then also
and some county. I take it. We get some local city government grants as well. City of Roseville, some that gives us one, as well as depending on this, what their focus is. But
but predominantly it's through
corporate
grants
and then through donations.
And we also have some fundraisers. And so tell us a little bit about the fundraisers.
Right, we have really 2 core fundraisers. In May, we have our annual golf tournament fundraiser, which is our chipping away at childhood cancer. And this was our 20th year, and it gets better every year. It's a ton of fun.
Yes, it is.
We sell out every year. Our vendors have all committed for next year, because the people that come are just wonderful, and that's the players and participants. And so this year we will be announcing the date. Right now it's tentative, but it looks like we'll be having it at Cataverdera. That's where we're looking to have it this year. But it's a ton of fun. And then the other one is the gala, which is our big one, our signature one, and that's on August 25th. And we've gotten large.
A little over a month away. A little less than a month away.
It is. We still have a few sponsorship opportunities. So you can go to our website to get more information, or you can call us or speak to Patty Neefer again at 916-784-6786. But that event, we actually moved to a larger venue because we sold out last year. So we're going to a venue now that houses 350 people. We have actually a few table sponsorships available. So if anyone's interested, we'd love to hear about it. But it's going to be an amazing event in the evening. We've got this new venue. We have an outdoor courtyard aspect to it. Then we have an indoor. We're bringing in a bit more entertainment, but we really want to make it an experiential experience that really focuses on our past, our present, and our future. And there's some surprises with regards to the future, which I'll leave, but
we'll find out then.
It's an amazing event.
And there's silent auction items, live auction items, like you said, the olive oil tasting.
That's right.
Like that. There's going to be a wine wall, and people can pay for the wine bottles.
Yeah, $25, and you get to pick. It's it's a brown bagged, or so you don't know what you're getting. But we have select bottles of values of $75 up to $100 in there as well. But every bottle will be at least $25.
And then last year there was bidding on cakes.
We do. We'll have the cakes, and the cakes have a surprise.
Purse.
The big difference this year, although, with the silent auction is that we're going on a new GiveSmart app, so it's online.
Oh, yes, okay.
So for the silent, we're actually opening it up to the general public. So you can actually go online 2 weeks before the event, it'll be open. But the live auction, you have to be present.
Yes.
And then we also have a golden ticket, which is an amazing value. So we have a limited number that we sell for those. And then we have a fund a family program there as well. And we're wonderful to have Keaton, our auctioneer, who's going to be doing it. He does a great job every year. But you will not go away entertained, and you will be exhausted.
And what's the location of that?
It's at the center at 2300.
And what's the date?
August 25th.
Time, sorry.
6 to 10.
And center 23rd.
At 2300 in Sacramento. It's right behind where Ruth Crisp is, and it's I want to say it's on Sierra Boulevard, but the center at 2300.
Okay. Well, we've been talking with Reed Baumgarten, the executive director of Keaton Raphael Memorial. If you want to get a hold of Reed, 916-784-6786, so you can email him, reed.baumgarten@childcancer.org. You can also go to the website, www.childcancer.org. Reed, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate it. Everyone, hope you have a great week, and Katie and I will be back next week.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Reed.
Okay. Man, that went right fast, doesn't it? Holy cow. So it's okay?
Oh, great. Okay. So now we're going to go in there, do a picture with Jerry. Let me end.